President. All right, Nigerian League Service. Wakama reveals secret behind the Tigress expulsion prosecution. May 30, difficult pairing set Mobolaji Johnson Arena on fire. And of course, on page 26, Onigbinde exit of an icon. All right, you also have Villa star Douglas Lees goes public with 19-year-old model. All right, on page 27, Tinubu meets service chiefs there. 3 dead, 5 injured in Ibadan as boss falls into river. My God, that's disastrous. All right, let's go to page 30 and 31. Men's UNDP support for administration's reform programs. Nobody was attacked at Koshofe local government, that's according to the chairman. Or your government settled waste management consultant payment within 48 hours. JAM at Leeds City University can't admit law student. All right, or your NUJ Tribune Chapel new executive, Mama Mujisola Falai for burial today. Or your Banji Laos Ekiti citizen for state top ranking in fiscal transparency. And on the International Women's Day, women town planners support special schools in Isei. All right, of course, that's as much as we take in this morning from the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Over to you, Victor, for more stories.
Well, we've got the Vanguard newspaper right here with us this morning. And yes, the front page is filled with stories. First one, Middle East war. Anxiety mounts as oil price hits $100 per barrel. And the writers say depot owners, marketers maintain 1,200, 1,300 naira per litre. Downstream, undergoing structural transition. That's coming from Professor Ilidari. The Strait of Hormuz will remain closed, says Iran's supreme leader in first message. Infrastructure under attack. Output drops to 1.315 million barrels per day. That's coming from OPEC. All of that story is on page 5. Now to what we have on page 9, Tinubu to politicians. Bow to rule of law on Electoral Act. Defense signing amid IPAC pushback, says I had no choice. On page 8, Abaribe, Ume, Tambuwal, Ireti, Kingibe, 5 senators defect to ADC. APC now 87 senators, ADC 9, PDP 6, and NPP 1, NDC 1. Lagos police partner to ensure security officers seek Larry doing duty, and that's on page 10. On page 10 as well, we have eligibility. Court bars Aiyedatiwa from seeking re-election in 2028. On page 21, 2027, Obi, Atiku, Amechi working together to stop APC. That's coming from the ADC. On page 7, troops recapture Borno community. Kill terrorist commander, 19 others in Yobe attack. On page 8, federal government okays new military hardware as troops intensify anti-terror war. On page 19, Nigeria's economy will withstand shocks from U.S.-Iran war, says Cardozo. Right now, we flip to what we have on the inside pages, so we actually read more right here. On page 6, NSCDC, arrest man who faked NYSC call-up, thoughts for a year. That's interesting. 3 killed, others injured as Fulani herders invade Delta community. Pastor's wife arrested for assaulting 5-year-old niece in Calabar. Hoodlum style beat family to stupor, post video online. Couple demands court judgment enforcement in tenancy dispute. Court Jason Woody and 2 lawyers for forgery and fraud. Okay, we have more stories right here on page 8. Senate to pass 2026 appropriation bill on March 31st. And reps pass 2.2 trillion naira FCT 2026 budgets for second reading. On page 9, UK announces airspace road restrictions for Tinubu's state visit. Court okays ICPC's request to examine electronic devices found in El Rufai's home. And on page 10, Kosoko royal family to LGA, out installation of new Oloja. Okay, we have more right here. Court restates Kosofel government chair. Orders from disciplining councillor. Ondo monarch stakeholders reject Ogun's Eba Highland claim. And we have more on page 11. Where 2027, Okori warns of brewing anarchy and asks Tinubu to act. Just release of Nnamdi Kanu issued base campaigns, cites attacks on Peter Obi Amechi as dangerous signals. Abia community protests disputed mining sites, arrest of indigenes, and Bar rejects claims of high taxation in Enugu. Oti joins former campaign DG Weke in Thanksgiving after successful surgery, and Abia moves to restore credibility in UTME. Okay, there's something about vanishing trees and fading livelihoods inside Olomo's Kingdom's battles against indiscriminate logging on page 12. That is on page 14. Edo community rejects attack allegation. Lawmaker demands records of unaccounted Delta local government funds. Federal government team inspects Kwale Hospital for upgrade. Ex-agitators to Tinubu ignore call to cancel Tantita's contract. Delta to partner NDDC and Chevron on Escravos Road. Oba of Benin comments Opelo on infrastructure development. And on page 15, CBN raises hope for cheaper money to fund businesses. Okay, there's more business. We have women well positioned to transform Nigeria's marketing ecosystem. That's coming from Lagos Commissioner on page 19. And we have inside plateaus, mining sites of vicious clashes and death on page 23. That's the same page. We have Cardinal government flags of livestock intervention for 5,000 cooperatives. Okay. Kano's Ramadan feeding program creates jobs for over 500 youth. NARCON Great Central Security Committee for 2026 Hajj operations on page 25. 6 airlines to face sanctions over arbitrary airfare. That's coming from the FCCPC boss. Naira watch. Naira rises to 1,418 Naira in Pearl Market. On page 27, we have CICN inducts 75 new mental health pros at 7th award ceremony. And what we have on the sports page on page 31, Mikel insists NFF board should quit. Okay. A FIBA World Cup qualifier, the Tigresses fall to South Korea 67-7. UCL, Arsenal boring to watch under Arteta, says Thierry. A 2025 AFCON, new twist on controversial final as CAF reopens investigation. We have MPF dismisses claim of West Africa Development Commission appointment. 2026 World Cup playoffs. DR Congo drops 2 players named in Nigeria's FIFA complaints. And of course, there is more on the back page where ahead of the 2026 World Cup, Trump wants Iran to stay away, which is quite an interesting one. And there's a list of today's matches in the La Liga, Bundesliga, Serie A, and the League On. And results from the NPFL, where Shooting Stars got a resounding 2-1 victory over Rivers United. And in the Europa League, where we had a list of games that went down, including Nottingham Forest defeat at the hands of Midtjylland at the City Ground. But that's as much as we can take on the newspaper review segments. We'll flip on now to the weather report, and I'll be back for more.
Breaking news. The home is under attack, but not for long, because Hypo is here. Dirty floors and surfaces.
Not on our watch.
Jetty and stains no video shakara. We got the remedy, original palasa. Hypo, go hypo.
Germs always find a way back.
No green. Protect every day with Hypo.
Hypo, go hypo. Yes.
Back is still AM120 on the Broadcasting Corporation of your state. Of course, we're now in the interview segment, and in this segment, we will be discussing what we call defections and Nigeria democratic values. That's what we're looking at this morning. And to do justice to the conversation, we have with the public affairs analyst. Thank you for joining us and welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's good to have
After a while.
a decade. All right, of course, as Nigeria transitions into full election mode for the 2027 general elections, the political temperature is heating up at a scale that puts the country's democracy under intense pressure. Democratic institutions are struggling to respond to pressures emanating from the actions of the political actors. The political landscape has been marked by heightened elite bargaining, strategic political realignment, and premature campaigns. These developments reflect the electoral politics, which relegates governance to and for the advancement of electoral ambition. Of course, while we begin with this conversation around defections, do not forget that just yesterday, 9 senators defected to ADC, 12 reps joined APC, ADC, and of course the likes of Tambuwal, Baribe, Kingibe, 6 others joined ADC in the Senate. All right, as we have Honorable Kunle Oladeyinde here with us in the studio, we'd like to look at the issue of defection. Let's look at the issue of defection as a word in politics. When we say defection, what do we mean? And do politicians have rights to move from one political party to the other? If yes, on what grounds can they move?
Thank you very much. Defection is part of politics globally. And you can call it decamp from one political party when you are not pleased with your political party. You decamp. You cannot, our constitution allows freedom of association, freedom to express yourself. They are just exercising their freedom of association by defecting from one party to another. In the street language, we call it potted. After normal medical, we call it medical in the street language. Now, we are talking about defection. Let me first and foremost congratulate ADC for having 9 National Assembly members. Congratulations to them. They only has only 9 votes. Like some of the opposition used to say that if a governor defected from another party to APC, it is 1 vote. So thank God they are having extra 9 votes. But you can't talk about defection without taking so many things into consideration. Number one, you take the achievement of the present government into consideration. Because there will be reason for you to defect from one party to another. There are things you are seeing in other parties you are defecting to allow you to made up your mind of defecting. If you look at the state of our economy in 2023, before Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which I call my father, became the president of this country, everything was in shambles. On the first day of his announcement, subsidy is gone. And he removed the parallel market, that is, allow it for free market flow. What am I talking about? There was so much hardship then. So much, everybody were crying. I was on this program more than 2 or 3 times, telling them that the pains of today is going to be gain of tomorrow. But where do we find ourselves now? After 2 years plus, going to 3 years in the next 2 months, you will discover that as of today, our foreign reserve is almost above 50 billion USD. When Asiwaju became president on 29 May 2023, what is our GDP? 269.82 billion. Now today, we are more than 372 billion, over 272 billion. Now, you discover that in January 5, 2026, the total capitalization of Nigeria Stock Exchange hit and crossed 100 trillion naira. Before the closing of business that same day, it has crossed 101.807 trillion. Talk about net fraud. Talk of tax reform. Talk about coastal road. Talk about Sokoto Badagry road. So many achievements. So this will entice political party to defend, most especially from the opposition to the ruling party.
All right, Honorable, we'll talk more about what we are talking about.
I have to give you the background of
I understand. We have to go on a commercial break now. When we come back, we'll be able to talk a lot more comprehensively on the conversation. So don't go anywhere. Just keep it locked on right there.
Breaking news. The home is under attack, but not for long, because Hypo is here. Dirty floors and surfaces.
Not on our watch.
Dirty and stains no be do shakara. We got the remedy, original plaza. Hypo, go hypo.
Germs always find a way back.
No green. Protect every day with Hypo.
Thank you very much for sticking around with us. We are still on the conversation, defections and Nigeria's democratic values, with Honorable Kunle Oladeyinde, who set the tone to actually give, a pointer to one of the reasons why, we have seen some of the defections to a certain political party. And amongst other things, I would like for the Honorable to understand that, why you have said that. A lot of people believe it's for more personal political reasons and ambitions for many of them. And we cannot begrudge them from having their own personal reasons to do that. But if one of those reasons includes what one of the perceivably statesmen of the country have said in time past, that come over to APC and your sins will be forgiven you, it starts to raise some dust in the air. What do you make of such a statement, given our political sphere in Nigeria?
What do you expect from the opposition? What do you expect? So many APC members today are being prosecuted by ICPC, by EFCC. Some have been convicted. Why are they still not forgiven? They are still going through trial. And many are still going through trial. Recently, a past MD, I couldn't remember the name of the agency now, was convicted. He's a APC member. You can't expect less from your opposition that they are still not forgiven. Once you join APC, you cannot even. I don't expect anybody to believe that narrative. It's a narrative of lazy opposition who could not do anything. This opposition party who could not muster up to 1 million registration across Nigeria. And listen to them, those who are boasting that they have over 200 million Nigeria behind them. We are the 200 million that they could not register online registration. 1 million. I can give you the load that it's about, as at yesterday, it's about 600 and something, I think 659,000. Not even up to 700,000 Nigerians. The opposition that wanted to unseat a sitting government who has performed very well in every area of women. Therefore, is that kind of government wanted to unseat? Because we are talking about defection. When the governor defected to APC, they will say, "Oh, it's only 1 vote." That is foolishness. To me, the governor don't have a relative, doesn't have aides. A governor that will defect with local government chairman that will defect, with all his commissioner that will defect, with all the paraphernalia of his office. But the opposition, because they need to hold us to something, to justify being in the opposition, be staying, is one foot. That was why I said initially that we thank God, a nice senator defected to ADC yesterday on the floor of National Assembly. They also have 9 foot.
Honorable Adeyinde, you said a lot about some of the things that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is doing. And I see that you really mean business, because you're even giving figures of some of those details.
We didn't allow him to give figures.
The
figure is here.
Yes, I know. You have more to give. Don't worry. You're going to give more. But while we are getting closer to that, let's look at Nigeria's democratic values. As a nation, what should be our values? Democratic values.
Yes, if you look at Nigeria politics and democracy, ideologically, we are nowhere. Yeah, that must be true. In America, we have 2 dominant parties, but most people don't know that there are so many other parties in America, in the USA. But because we are talking about the Democrats and the Republicans, they have their own ideological belief in Republican. But if you look at APC is the only party I can say have value now, ideological value, because we are progressive in nature. Before PDP, you can talk about PDP in conservative term. So, but most Nigerian politicians doesn't have value, as a person. But as a party, I give it to APC. The value, if you look at it, when APC become a reality in 2013, we have CPC, we have AMPP, we have some aspect of APGA, we have ACN. And if you see Mr. President, from AD, AC, and ACN, the same party, the same orientation, the same belief, the same ideological value. But most other parties doesn't have value. Actually, Bola Ahmed Tinubu has never decamped once, not even once. There was a time.
Why do you think he didn't decamp?
He can't decamp because he believed in his own belief. The belief was there. He has value. At the time, he was the only governor left in ACN, in opposition. He was even being wooed by PDP that to come and join PDP. Then we have about 28 governors in PDP. They are boasting that they are going to rule for 60 years or 50 years. And they could not rule for. So he couldn't decamp because of his own belief.
In 1999, when former President Olusegun Obasanjo came into office as president, we had several political parties in Nigeria, vibrant political parties. When you talk about Labour Party, you see that it was a Labour Party that believed so much in the workers' ideology, ensuring that the masses get the dividend of democracy. You see the likes of Accord Party, they had seats in many states. And one would begin to look at it, that it seemed like we are beginning to lose, or we have lost, our country's democratic values. That's why there's this everybody facing one direction of a particular political party.
We are not facing one direction.
What happened?
That's why I said earlier that
because you have talked about
APC
the president's achievements
and other parties. Why we are not facing one direction? I was talking about the metamorphosis of AD to AC to ACN. Why actually did not decamp? It was only governor standing there. But yet, you look for other people to form APC. There was a realignment. That is the man that believed. And then let me correct an impression. Labour was not there in 1999. Accord was not there in 1999. We have 5 major parties in 1999. If I could remember all, we have PDP, we have APP, we have AD.
Abga.
No, APP metamorphosed to AMPP. So we have about 5 dominant parties
at that time.
And then the biggest party then was PDP. It's not in a comatose state now.
That's an assumption.
You can't rule out defection. If the government in power is performing, let me give you an instance.
You call this performance? I just bought flour yesterday for almost 1,200
You
naira.
bought
You
fuel.
say, yes.
Thank you very much. I love that question.
And you say that.
I love that
you are
question.
saying achievement. What
I
kind
love
of achievement?
I love that question.
Before the
respond to that
current
question.
president came into office, sir,
Let me.
we're buying fuel at over 200 naira.
It's like
we're now in
we are
1,000.
deceiving ourselves.
How?
Can we afford subsidy?
What is saying
Now,
subsidy?
let me answer to your question that you bought fuel at 1,200 naira. If you want to know how international crude oil determine the price, we will not be complaining. Do you know, as of today, in the US, they are buying fuel for $5. That is about 7,000 naira per liter.
The economy
compare
has
the
gotten
price.
there. The economy has gotten there. The workers' salary, what they earn,
You
can
know,
afford them to buy
in the last 2
without
weeks,
complaining.
in the last 2 weeks of Iran war, as they increase their salary, this is a government that came to power and increased the salary of workers to more than 100%. First in history.
Are you saying
you cannot
80,000
say
naira minimum wage is what working for?
Oh my God!
80,000 naira.
This guy
are
met.
you boasting
met
of 18,000 naira?
Met 35,000 and increased it. You are talking about fuel. That is
Honorable,
what determines the price of fuel in the international market. We are having war in Iran, and then most of this cargo cannot pass through Strait of Hormuz because of the war. Most definitely there will be ripple effect in every nation. Nigeria still have one of the cheapest oil.
Let's stick with the conversation that we're having this morning, so that we not digress into individuals and all that. Let's go back at memory lane. Yesterday was Throwback Thursday, I know, but I was looking at, back in the days when we had the Akintolas, the Awolowos. What was the value, back then in politics? What separated them? Because we always see, modern day politicians referencing them, talking about what they had done over the years. What had they done differently back then that made them a lot more different, that people bought into what they were selling as politicians back then, which is very much different from what we have today. Maybe if we look at that, maybe we'll understand better where we have lost it and how it has been like this, because you cannot tell me that the defections that we are seeing, is healthy for our Nigerian system. Let's look back. What are those things that you saw back then?
Thank you so very much for this question. You are talking about defection, it's not healthy. Do you remember during the Akintola Awolowo days, the NC, the action group, the NPC, Nona People Congress, NCNC, do you know that there was a time that the Asikwe almost governed the Southwest, the West then, but overnight they call it defection. Then they call it cross carpeting. Overnight, because Asikwe has already almost won most of the parliament member, but overnight, member of the parliament that was won by Asikwe cross carpet to action group.
How many of them did that? Was it a gale of the factions?
It was a gale of defection to allow AG action group to have majority number of parliament member. I'm a student of history. Okay. So defection are the part of us, not today.
I'm not saying it has not been a part, but I'm saying the numbers, the waves in which they have been going, is looking a lot more different.
I was giving an instance where what can make defection a reality, or what can make defection, make people to defect from one part to another. It's about performance. Let me go memory lane. Under Akinwumi Ambode in Lagos State from 2015 to 2019, if a governor is performing, this is a man that executed major significant over 500 projects within 4 years. This is a man that did over 114 roads, many ambulances for healthcare use. Security was very okay. He built interchange in Oshodi. He built Ojodu, Aja, and Abule Babi. He did so many projects for Lagos. And then during his period, a lot of both the Igbos, the Indigi and non-Indigi, are decamping to to APC then. Performer will make people to decamp. Imagine having Ambode again as our governor in 2027 to come and finish his second term. You can expect more defection from every political party. I'm talking about performance because he performed very well. He's one of the best governor that almost does not have any abandoned project. He finished all his projects in Lagos then. So many people defected.
Honorable Adede, honestly, I'm thrilled by the way we talk about this performance of a thing, and I'm surprised that the same people that we say are performing are not allowed. The same person is not allowed to finish his second term. Let's go on this commercial break. Let's pay some bills. When we come back, we'll delve into the issue of Ambode and the issue of defection. Stay with us, don't go away.
No pull your ideas, make we talk. Time don't reach to rearrange his house to give us small wisdom. Shots might be fresh now, but you know, I beg no be so. Before I go talk, say our smile no reach. Make not think I'm twice so. Ever heard of Colgate, the #1 oil care brand in the world?
Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection unlocks 24 hours cavity defense. The formula boost with calcium for lifelong smiles.
Mom, if you come to brush, no more cover mouth.
Colgate for 24 hours maximum cavity protection.
All right, thank you very much for sticking around with us. We're still having the conversations with Honorable Kunle Oladeyinde about defections and Nigeria's democratic values. And my partner was onto something with him as regarding the performances.
Yes, so yes, no doubt. Fortunately, Ambode is from my constituency and he did very well.
Are you from Ekpe?
Yes, I am. And funny enough, he was not allowed a second term.
Thank you very much.
And you talk about performance. If defection was about performance, one would have thought that the likes of the then APC leader, who happens to be the president today, along with other elder statesmen, would have given him, the support. Because Ambode was not going to allow people to just waste resources of government. He did his best. So.
Yeah, today, in politics, we can't just divine it. Let me talk about Ambode. He's a man that I know so much well. He's one of the best governors ever in Lagos State. For not coming back, I wouldn't want to say much about that. That is our internal affair as APC member. But today,
that we should not know about.
We have Tunumbu Ambode Consolidation Project 2027,
really?
Of which I'm one of the media director. We all know that you can make mistake. So by party, you can't be in a party that is not listening to leader. Imagine Ambode after what he did so very much well, he's still a loyal party man.
So why didn't he defect?
He can't defect because he believes in the decision of the party.
So it was the decision of the party.
That is what we call progressive.
So it was a decision of the party not to rerun.
A lot of load of Ambode achievement. And why he cannot defect?
Okay.
Because in politics, you have leaders. Ambode has leaders. Actually, his leader and other leaders. He has to do, go and sit down. Actually, will tell you, go and sit down. We'll give you another thing. That is actually for you. Nobody is querying Ambode performance as a governor from 2015 to 2019. Is it on security or what you want to talk about? Is it infrastructure development you want to talk about? There is nowhere in Lagos State Akiambode does not touch. Is it in healthcare you want to talk about? Is it refurbishment you want to talk about? This man make available 25 billion for what? For small and medium scale enterprises. This man made available 500 million for people with disability. He touched every area. So many opportunities he made available. So many empowerment he did in so many areas of women and therefore. So if he does not come back and he is now coming back again by the grace of God, inshallah, then what are we talking about? He's going to do better by the grace of God. Okay. We are rooting for him to come back. Come and root Lagos again.
Don't worry, we'll take the conversation to Lagos.
Then let me quickly say this. Performance is the key indicator of defection. No. Let me make sure, just give me 1 minute. There is a local government chairman, LCDA in Lagos State. A local government chairman, Monsuru Akinoye. If you see what this man has done, what he's doing, even a state in Nigeria cannot do it. Really? I'm telling you, the kind of road he's doing, the kind of empowerment, in schools, this guy have refurbished so many schools that he can be compared to so many states in Nigeria. So if one of the kiri ko ba money come in, if you beg you badada, when you amaya atokun, is indication of their performance that will make people to the camp in respect to the area to be specific. No opposition. No single opposition. Right. Today, because Monsura Akinoye performed very well.
Don't worry, I'm coming with opposition.
Honorable, when you say many states, I hope you realize that many of the states are governed presently by APC governors, sitting governors. Let us talk about what I was actually driving at earlier on, which is the ideology, the value. Because when you say that the party is progressive, party ideology, right? But then there are so many individuals, and you mentioned earlier, many of the individuals do not need to have it. But then we have seen many of them who have, is it cross-carpeted you want to use, or defected, or moved around.
Or potted.
Potted. Mm-hmm. They have moved around too much. And don't you think that at some point in time, it will start to, when they say too many movements means that this person does not have what he's standing for. And in life, you need a man to stand for at least something. And in political sphere, we are not seeing what these individuals have stood for over the years. You have seen them shape-shift a number of times. Wouldn't that actually deter the ideology? Wouldn't that chunk at the hammer of the APC over time?
Do we now sacrifice freedom of movement because of ideology?
But then, maybe before they come in, you scrutinize, you look at individuals.
Do you know in APC, there is a language we use.
What's the criteria for bringing them in?
Yeah, let me just, you must be a performance in the ADC.
But many of them...
there is a government in this Southwest, also to be precise, who wanted to decamp to APC. We said no.
Why?
We said no.
Why?
Because of so many reasons I cannot enumerate here.
Wants to know why your party.
We also know a governor that did jamboree in last December, is it November or December, in the Southwest state of a now comatose party who might be willing to defect. We said no. So no, hopefully he said no, he's not interested to support Mr. President for second time. No, we are not even expecting his support. We are not expecting his support. We are not expecting the governor of Oyo State support with me. Because we are talking about the ideology, sir. Let me go back there. Before APC, we admit you to become their member. They are what we call medical. They have to go to our national headquarters to do medical. What kind of medical are you talking about? They want to scrutinize you. We want tests on you. We look at your DNA. What do you have your DNA?
When did you
have
start
your DNA? What kind of DNA do you carry? We call it medical. It is once you pass your medical, we'll give you a clean bill of health. Now you are now allowed to decamp. There is a governor that have decamped by mouth for about more than 2 or 3 months now in this country. That has not been officially welcome to APC. You know the governor I'm talking about? Well, he's a member of APC as of today. Other government of the camp after him, we have Dauda recently, we have Kefas recently. This discussion started from the Delta State. Today, we have 31 and half governor in APC. I say and half. I was not even and half. I will say, let me say that 1 and half. The 2 half is the governor of Anambra State will go to work for Mr. President because of his performance. Abga, the governor of Abia State, will work for Mr. President. These two, I put them together. I said they were half. They are neither here or here, but one leg here, supporting Mr. President. That is what we want. And why are they doing this? This is a government that from God will not pay salary before the advent of this government. I told Bola Ahmed Tinubu that I call my own father. They couldn't pay salary. Today, governors are doing so many projects all over places. They are now receiving more than 3 times what they used to receive.
Sorry, Victor. They will receive more than 3 times because the subsidy will removed.
Yes.
The monies are going somewhere.
Actually, Bola Ahmed is so audacious, so committed, so dedicated. It's a decision of which nobody is willing to take. It's a government. A president that wanted to go for second term will not initiate and do this kind of reform in his first term. You usually wait for the second term. But actually, it does not matter. He does not care. All he wants is Nigeria to move forward. And Nigeria is moving forward. The pace of those 2 years are now coming again to us. You are going to see what they call re-election in 2027. I can bet you we are going to get about 70% of the vote.
Okay. Now, let's look at it. Don't forget we're talking about defections. And fortunately, unfortunately, we have been having series of voters' apathy over the years. We have been having limited number of electorates coming out to vote.
We also in Abuja.
And we're scared that even in 2027, it might have a repeat. Now, as a political party, the ruling party, what are you doing to ensure that it is not just a campaign to get your party contestant or, out of
Very good question.
Vote, but to have substantial number that it requires more than half of the electorate coming out to vote. Now we have been having most people are no longer interested. Yes. Yeah. Are you saying that this achievement you have been talking about will reflect in people coming out come 2027 general election?
If you look at this election, the last election in 2023 that brought actually Bola Ahmed Tinubu to power, you know there are a lot of shenanigans that reduce people participating, coming out to vote.
Your party was in power before it came.
We are in power, but yet I can tell you, the Kaba in Aso Rock are not supporting Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I can tell you for free, the party are not supporting Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I can tell you so many organizations gang up against Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We are talking about imaginary fuel scarcity. We are talking about painting of Naira, confiscation of Naira because of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We are talking about so many roadblocks, so many impediments, so many difficulties on the part of a man of destiny. Above all this, he surmounted all these obstacles and he became president. Now, let me give an instance concerning what you are talking about the number of people coming out to vote on election day. Today, APC has about over 12 million member. Over 12 million member. What makes it like that? Because we are able to mobilize. The coming election is going to differ from the one we are talking about. People are now sophisticated. The awareness is very, very high. What happened in 2023 is because of the gang up against Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Before that, Buhari scored about 15 point something million votes. About 12 point something million votes to one in 2019 and others. You know that the turnout then was higher, but it wasn't higher or it wasn't like that in 2023 because of the gang up. Expect that by the grace of God, inshallah, we are going to have over 40 to 50% turnout this time around, so that we can dust the opposition before 2 p.m. on election day.
All right, Honorable. let's talk about the future of Nigeria's democracy now, because when we are done with the coming elections, after everything has been seen on the battleground, what will be left at the carcasses of politics from the eyes of many? We'll have the usual back and forth from different camps. But then the question will be, after that, what happens to Nigerian politics? What happens to those who have defected, whose ambitions were not satisfied? What happens to those who got what they wanted but see a different future with another party? What happens to all of this? What is the system saying about all of this? What institutions have we now built that will ensure that we have a good democratic future in Nigeria?
Very good question. But let me take back memory. I love to revert. In court, all they wanted to see is some sort of evidential value. Don't forget, there was a time in this country, I have said it earlier, where the power that be took over all the states in the southwest, being governed by ACN then. Well, because Atuaju was the only person remained standing, he didn't defect. He tried to build synergize with other politicians across the country. He built bridges. What is happening today? If they are also still fast, he said it in one of his address at National Assembly, they are not going to be one party state. No. Atuaju is a Democrat.
What's the conviction that we will not have a one party state?
We will not have, we will never.
Are you sure?
I'm so sure. I will also take you down memory lane. We are usually having two dominant parties in Nigeria from 1960. During the region era, we have NPC in the north, we have NCC in the southeast, in the east, not southeast then. We call it the north and the east and west before they created Midwest. Then in west here we have Action Group, three major dominant parties. After that, after the defunct of the First Republic, when we became a democracy again in 1979 by Obasanjo, we have 5 major parties, but 2 dominant. We have UPN and MPN. We have GMPP, PRP. It's very a long time. If I can get 4 out of 5, I think I pass. But we have 2 dominant parties. Which are dominant party? UPN and MPN. Now, let's quickly come to under Babangida. We have SDP. We have National Republican Convention, National NRC, 2 dominant parties. Now, come to the 1999, we have 5 major parties then, but 2 dominant parties. What are the 2 dominant parties? We have PDP. We also have APP before it become ANPP. We have in the west here, we have AD. 3 dominant parties into the but along the line, it become 2 dominant parties in PDP and APC. What am I getting at? Do you know today PDP is still stronger than all the opposition put together? You will discover that from the last election at FTC, at FCT. So what I'm talking about, there will never be a time that Nigeria will become a one-party state. I actually said it at the National Assembly.
So what becomes
it's
of
not
parties,
a man.
What becomes of parties like the SDP, the Social Democratic Party, LP, Labour Party, because they brought some kind of value to Nigerians? The average citizen could reconnect with them, could say some things about them. What becomes of the likes of them?
You are interviewing me. I would have asked you what value has Labour had to the political set of Nigeria. What value? Is it value of Obi, the crybaby?
But before Obi became their front runner.
Yeah, because Obi, they have one governor in Mimiko. Before Obi, they also collaborate with Oshiomhole. With Oshiomhole it's a collaboration.
Because the
it doesn't.
because the
was
were
not
visible
party.
for something.
It's a collaboration between ACN and Labour. Yes, they might have some value. Nobody who doesn't have a value. Even the madman on the street has value. They might have some value, but I want to advise them. Let all the opposition come together. At least they'll be able to garner about 10% of the vote in 2027.
Did you say 10% of the vote?
Even if they get 20, I'm so ambitious about that.
You are so ambitious.
About 10%. What do they need up to that?
Okay.
What do they have? This is an opposition party, ADC, who could not even have enough polling unit agents.
But I hope they
won't, talking about.
I hope they won't surprise you, because election in 2027 is actually going to be about the people.
About the people.
And not
those
about
in APC are not people. Those in APC are animals. Those in APC are not Nigeria. About people.
It's about the people casting their vote and vote counting. Honorable Kunle Oladende, we want to sincerely appreciate you for being our guest. We enjoyed our time with you, honestly speaking. Thank you for coming again. Yes, I will be expecting you again, and we'll love to have you soon. All right, on this note, we want to go on a break, and when we come back, our second guest is waiting to join us. Stay with us, don't go away. welcome back. It's still AM120 on the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State. Our second guest is here with us as we continue the conversation on defections and Nigerian democratic values. That's what we've been looking at. And of course, we have Honorable Oluyinka Tella, who is the Assistant Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party in Oyo State. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
It's good to have you here this morning.
Thank you.
All right, in the spirit of 2027 general elections, we have seen a lot of defections. And of course, even up till yesterday, we had 9 senators defecting to ADC, 12 reps joined APC, and of course, ADC. You have the likes of, big wigs like Tambuwa, Baribe, Kingi Bay, and others moving from one. Now, when we talk about this movement, in whose interest are politicians always moving from one political party, from one ideology to the other?
Sorry, you said something. You said from one ideology to the other. In real context, and let's talk about the facts about Nigerian politicians these days. They don't really do things on ideology again, because you can't be a Democrat today and turn to another thing tomorrow. So people move. Politics is a game of interest. So people move from one party to another, basically because of interest. Even if you want to move from one party to another, it has to be a party that his goal and objective align with where you are coming from. Like I can talk about Engineer Seyi Makinde was in Social Democratic Party before. Then he moved to People's Democratic Party. The ideology is similar. But what we have today in Nigeria is people moving from PDP to APC, that the ideology totally differs.
I'm sorry, with due respect to you and to politicians across Nigeria,
Okay.
I do not think, maybe you need to differentiate for us, those ideologies that makes APC and PDP different. Because we have seen several people, I know people who have never moved for one day from PDP to another party. And there are some who have never moved from APC to other parties. There are some names. That, party can change names because of merger and all of that. That's normal. The fact that PDP was lucky to have started with the name PDP and is still PDP today does not mean that there's anything different from what they have done. They've only been lucky. However, some other parties that have changed names doesn't mean that they have been unlucky as well. So, but let's look at those different things. What makes APC different from the PDP?
Okay. I will start with Oyo State. When APC was in power in Oyo State, during the regime of Governor Abiola Ajimobi, everybody knows how his style of government was. That same time, Aregbesola was in Osun State. We all know their style of governance. They are not people-oriented government. That's the truth.
That's an assumption.
It's not an assumption.
It is. Maybe you prove it out.
Wait, let me land. Were your state government, were they owing salary prior to 2019? Yes, in Oyo State. In Osun State, are they owing salary? Yes. When Seyi Makinde come on board as a true Democrat, we saw how he changed the narratives. When Ademola Jackson came on board in Osun State, we saw how he turned things around too. So can you compare the two parties when their performance when they are in government?
Okay, so
they are incomparable.
So I disagree that if that is your measurement of comparing things, I think it's not scientifically strong enough to specifically say that this is actually. If you're judging by salaries, let's not go to
style of governance.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
No, you have brought up the issue of payment of salaries as part of the style.
Yes.
And that is not enough to come to a conclusion that truly they have done well or their style of governance is whether the best or not. And don't forget, you also said earlier, which I was trying to say was an assumption, the issue of APC not running a people's-oriented governance. Every government, looking at even the global hardship, the national hardship, let alone the state hardship. So let's not use that as a measure.
Oh, okay.
But maybe we just go to other issues so that we don't
Sorry,
belabor that.
but before we move to other issues, let me say something. I'm not mixing any words when I said APC government is not a people-oriented government.
No, we will not allow you to use that on a live program. Maybe you just help us retract so that, yes, to avoid...
okay, let me say they care less about the citizen of this country.
That's also an assumption. But let's leave that and just move on. Let's go on this commercial break. Okay. When we come back from the commercial, we'll go back to memory lane and see what defection had been like yesteryears. Stay with us, don't go away. We'll be right back.
Breaking news. The home is under attack, but not for long, because Hypo is here. Dirty floors and surfaces.
Not on our watch.
Dirty and stains no video shakara. We got the remedy original plaza. Hypo, go hypo.
Germs always find a way back.
No green. Protect every day with Hypo.
Hypo, go hypo.
All right, welcome back. It's still AM120. We still have in the studio with us Honorable Oluyinka Teller, who is the Assistant Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party in Oyo State. Of course, let's quickly look at the history of defections. Okay. And if you look at the First Republic in 1951, the inaugural defection occurred in 1951 when 20 members of National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroon NCNC defected to Action Group to prevent Nnamdi Azikiwe from becoming the premier of Western Region. That was the reason for defection. In the Second Republic, you also have in 1979 to 1983, significant shift occurred, including members leaving the Unity Party of Nigeria for the National Party of Nigeria, such as Chief Akin Omoboriowo. Notable too was Abubakar Rimi, moved from the People's Redemption Party to the Nigerian Party, People's Party, NPP. In the Fourth Republic in 1999 till date, defection have become gales or waves surrounding elections. In the pre-2015, a frequent shift, often including a high-profile ruling party PDP members moving, such as 2009 with the Zamfara state governor, was 2015, an unprecedented systematic wave of defection saw massive numbers of officials move from PDP to the All Progressive Congress. In 2018 and 19, notable defection included the Senate President Bukola Saraki and 14 senators moving from APC to PDP, followed by other shift. Let's go to that history. Okay. The purpose why people were moving, part of it was to prevent certain things from happening, you know, and on and on. What's your take?
That's what I said. Nobody is defecting because of interest of Nigerians. They are defecting based on their personal interest. If somebody is defecting based on national interest, it will be clear. The first one you said, they want to prevent Nnamdi Azikiwe from becoming a premier of the Western region. I think I can say a little bit about that because I think I read some books that spoke about that. And the purpose was they saw Igbo as more or less the minority then. So they felt it will not be all go well for minority to rule over the majority. That was the idea behind defection. But that is not what we have today. That is not what we have today. What we have today is somebody, because he is the president of the country, is pushing the country to a one-party state,
But you said
and is causing.
But then it's repeatedly said that Nigeria would not be a one-party state.
Is that?
He has said it before, that Nigeria would not be a one-party state. The person you're referring to.
Some people will say, hear the words of my mouth. Don't do what I'm doing.
Really?
Yeah. His action is acting contrary to what he said.
Is it the one actively weighing all of them to come in? Because maybe we should look at that as well.
Wait, bros. There was an allegation flying around that once you move to APC, okay, this one is not even allegation. Let me say it, and I will quote their former chairman, which was Adam Oshiomole. He said it on a national television.
Yes, he did say it.
That once you join APC, you are no more a sinner. That's number one. I'm coming. Recently, in Osun State, when Omishore came out to contest, that he wanted to be governor, there was a leaked video, a leaked voice note that went viral, that they were saying everybody that have criminal records, that once they join the APC, they clear it off for them.
All right, Honorable, let's not do it as my party versus their party.
It's not a matter of my
Let's
party
talk
versus their
about
party.
let's talk about what does defections mean for us, because I mean each time we try to bring up this conversation, I know a lot of politicians and people in different political parties tend to favor their own affiliations a lot more. Let's talk about Nigeria's democratic values. You mentioned earlier on that ideologies are lacking.
Yeah.
Now, what exactly was the tipping point that got us to lose those ideologies? What exactly happened in the history of Nigeria's politics that shifted the minds of the parties or the individuals pushing the parties away from the proper ideologies? Because back then, we know what the likes of the Action Group would stand for.
Yes.
We know what the Social Democratic Group would stand for. We know why people voted in. The man who we said made that statement, Adam Oshiomole, we know why he won in some states, in his states, beg your pardon, because of the name label.
Yeah.
And we understand the rationale behind that. And I asked the previous guest, the likes of the Social Democratic Party, there was a reason they had their logo. The Labour Party, there's a reason why we had plenty of people following through, especially in the Nigerian civil service. But nowadays, they are barely reckoned with. And it speaks to this shift in ideology. So at what point did we lose it?
Thank you. Let me put it this way. There is no way I will say some things that I will not mention to APC. I'll be clear about that. Because when Tinubu was contesting, he said some words. He said, we will reduce the purchasing power of the people. And that is exactly what they did. And when we reduce your purchasing power, you can't afford to pay for the basics. You will take whatever offer anybody gives you. You understand? They are impoverizing Nigerians so that with any amount, with a little amount, everybody is moving. There was an allegation also that once you join them, you collect a certain amount of money. Whether you are a governor, whether you are a senator, you are a member of House of Rep.
We are talking about recent times now.
Recent times.
Not
But we've never had it this worse.
really.
Yeah. That's never happened like this in Nigeria.
All right, now let's...
That one party will take almost 86% of the
But there was a time...
Are you blaming, sorry, Victor,
Because
are you blaming the party or you blame the politicians who are
Politicians who
jumping
shifted.
around?
Because there was a time...
The politicians
I
who
said
were in your
something.
party and are not contented and will jumping from one party to the other.
I said something. Hunger doesn't know party.
But before
Why
now...
did they choose to be hungry? It's a choice to be hungry.
Because it is the government of the day that choose to impoverize Nigeria.
No, that's not true.
That's the truth.
That's
People
not
have
true.
always complained. People have always complained. We have had songs. People living in penury and all of that, and songs criticizing the government of the day. But then let's talk about it, because back in the day, we know the PDP had such a stronghold.
Yeah.
It was a huge.
But we've
one
never had
in
32
Nigeria.
governors.
Well, but then at the same time, there was a PDP
We allow
chieftain.
opposition to breed.
There was a PDP chieftain who told Nigerians that in so number of years, the whole Nigeria would be governed by PDP governors.
Is an assumption. Anybody?
Assumption?
Yeah.
And
Anybody?
then did not fall.
Wait. Let me say something. There is no. If you give a madman a hoe, if you want to hoe, to whose side? Everybody will say sweet words, but that doesn't mean the PDP then had hands in other parties' problem.
Really?
Oh, so how
I'm
is
coming.
the
I'm
ruling
coming.
party
I'm coming.
having hand in your party's problem?
In 1999, Bola Ige was part of Obasanjo's government. He was in the opposition. Have you ever seen Bola Ige acting the way Wike is acting now? Despite working for being opposition and working for the government.
Different
of the day.
individuals and the way they run their things.
They run their things.
We won't see many PDP individuals doing the same as Wike has been doing. So,
Wike doesn't have such power, except what is Wike using? Judiciary. You and I know that in Nigeria today, I'm not accusing the judiciary, but what is proving, most judgments are proving, is that judiciary is not that the hope of common man again.
let me use your words now. That's an assumption.
Yeah, that's an assumption.
And then it is when things don't favor certain group of people that they say,
wait,
when you go to
I
court
will
and
quote-
the judgment tolls your path,
Okay,
you're excited.
Okay,
you
now
hail
let
the
me
judiciary.
now say it. Let me now say it. There have been different cases about PDP conventions. Why are we having contrary, as in, like, why are you not having the same judgment?
Is that on the PDP? Is that on the APC? It's not on the
I'm not
opposition
talking.
parties.
Get it clear.
But
I
you're saying
said-
they influenced.
Yes.
Now, look at this way. Defections have a caveat by the rules, which is that depending on the crisis in a certain political party,
Yeah.
they could make the moves right there.
Yeah.
We're going to get later on to talk about the punishments, or what should come through as a matter of the rule books now. Anytime anyone has crossed, especially if you are holding a position where you are elected into office from a political party. But then, of course, we have seen the PDP in the last few years. Before the election, we know what happened in the party in the build-up to the 2023 general elections.
Yes.
There were question marks on the future of your party, PDP. And those question marks are raising more question marks now, because it looks like the party did not see the writing on the wall from 2013. They have failed to see it 10 years later, and more years after that, they failed to address it, which is leading to more defections, and it is becoming more problematic. But then would you say that PDP has not been in a state of comatose or huge crisis, given what has happened from 2021, 2022, thereabouts, up until now?
Okay. There is no party that doesn't have its own problem. Yes, we have our internal crisis. Supreme Court has said that all political matters, parties should be settled internally. But what we have today is courts interfering in political matters.
So one of the courts has said you people should go and address it as a family.
Good. And that is why there is no war that is ended at the war front. It's always ended with dialogue. Since Monday, there have been a lot of meetings going on.
Okay.
The two sides are saying they are open for reconciliations. So moves have been made. But what I can assure you, within a very short time, you will see a stronger PDP. I don't blame those that are leaving. You understand? INEC has come out with their guidelines. And everybody wants to. That's why it's still bottled down to personal interest. You understand? But to me, what I'm questioning is if there is ideology in our political system, you hardly see somebody switching from PDP and see APC as